Hear ye, hear ye. I've been given a real stage. I feel power stricken. What's the word? I'm like obsessed with power. What is it? Power. What's the word when you're drunk on power? I'm clearly drunk on power. It's going to be a little extra sassy. Happy holidays, everyone. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, like 37 chairs up here that are empty. I would love if you'd come fill them. There's a VIP section over here with a couple openings. I love when you sit close. Come on in, get comfortable, get cozy. How y'all doing? Good. Pull out your heavy coats, your double mittens, your fur-lined hats, your face masks. Not that kind, the kind that helps you just not lose your lips. Are we ready for pub talk? Everybody has a full or half full glass. You've got a nice full plate of food. How is it? You are VIP. And you were early to the VIP section, so it's even better. Okay, I still have an entirely open front row. Would love to have you fill it. Don't make me ask another time. Good evening. Welcome to Pub Talk. I'm Shannon Kelly. I'm thrilled to be here with you tonight. We have an awesome lineup. I think most of you know why I'm excited, because there's a dog-centric brand tonight, so what could be better than that? We missed you last month, but as you know, we were all very busy with the Ben Venture Conference. 7 companies took home $665,000 last month at Ben Venture Conference. 9 giant checks got checked into airplanes. No, I don't know if that's true. Ben Venture Conference, who was there? Was it not amazing? Was it not the best one yet? I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I learned so much. I have to go home and stare at the wall for 3 days and let my brain settle down. It's just so wonderful. So anyhow, it's great to be back. Special thanks to the team here at Silver Moon Brewing for hosting, to Southern Accent for feeding us, and to Matt Hand and the team for the stream and for getting me this giant stage. I really do feel like one of the characters in the Macy's Day Parade. Does that still happen, the Macy's Day Parade? Is that still a thing? I'm like, that's how I feel. Okay, I'm able to host tonight's Pub Talk program thanks to our MC sponsor, OSU Cascades, who is launching its new signature career program next fall called the Cascades Edge. This program is built into coursework at no additional cost. This is so exciting. It starts the very first term with students exploring the right career path for them and then creating an action plan for college and career. And what makes this program unique is that students pursue professional development at every turn. This is ranging from resume updates to job shadows to internships to networking. This gives them a career edge when they graduate. It's so, so cool. Let's start tonight by saying hello to EDCO CEO John Stark, shall we? John Stark, where are you?
Good evening, Pub Talk Nation. Glad you're all here. Hey, give yourselves a round of applause for getting here tonight. What a treacherous commute this morning. Almost like trying to get up here.
No, those stairs are not right.
Oh, that was interesting. Hey, glad to be here tonight. Glad you all made it. I want to give a shout out for one of our programs that you've heard a lot about over the last 5 years, Youth Career Connect. That is EDCO, EC Works partnership, and a number of other resources that are in the room. So High Desert ESD is here as well, that partner with us to provide youth learning opportunities with employers here in the region. So www.youthcareerconnect.org. So Larry Holman's in the back of the room. This program places students 18 to 24 in experiential learning opportunities in your businesses. Now, EDCO's been the recipient of having an intern for years through this program. It's something we've found very, very successful. And the reason I'm bringing this to your attention is there is over 220 students that are ready to go as profiled, ready to go ahead and send out. So a profile is where we mine the data about their interests, their resume, and the types of background skills that they have. And so that we ship those profiles out to the companies to select candidates like you would with a staffing company, but for an internship. And so we have 220 students region-wide, 150 here in Bend that are ready to go for internships, and we need companies today that want to host an intern. And let me tell you about our experience briefly. So we hired an intern that came in to help support our events. And is Maria in the room? I don't think she's in the room tonight. She is probably home studying because she's a student. So Maria is an intern that we hired here earlier this year to come in and help us do some event support. But we realized she had some talents in some other areas, particularly in spreadsheet development. And so I took all of our spreadsheets that were on Google Docs that, as you know, don't convert very easily back to Excel. Requires different formulas and so forth. So we wanted some different dashboards for some of the tracking that we do for pending projects and done deals. And so she and I met. We were talking about some of the things she was doing. She's like, I really want to work on some spreadsheet stuff. And I'm like, boy, have I got a project for you. So in like a month, she has converted all of our spreadsheets. And this data goes back to 1993 for EDCO. So she's dealing with a big set of data. And she's built all new dashboards with the help of our marketing team. And so if you have a project in your business that hasn't gotten done because you haven't had the staff to do it, hire an intern to come in and do that, right? You'll get it done and you won't believe the talent these students have. So here's an intern in high school doing the CEO's work, tracking through our spreadsheets, our pending projects and done deals. Or if you're having trouble filling a position, you think that that could be filled for a short-term period,
you won't believe
come
the
in.
talent these students have.
Wow.
So,
That was very meta. It was very
that
cool.
was. So someone was speaking from upstairs.
It's the power
I don't know.
stage. Yeah.
Indeed. So Youth Career Connect, there's flyers on the table. Larry is here. We have that here in Bend. We have Bree Wilkins up in Redmond. We have Debbie Taylor out in Madras. If you're a business and you have some needs for some work that needs to get done, take a look at Youth Career Connect. Click on it, the Employers tab, www.youthcareerconnect.com. Do that for us. Help us sustain the program. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Thanks, John. Young brains. Young brains, they work. Truly, nothing like a youth brain to stay on track. My brain is at least 20% worse than it used to be. I never even saw it coming. Not the kind of thing that gets better with time, is it? Okay, anyhow, one of my favorite parts of PubTalk every single time is to say hello and say thank you to our title sponsors. So some are here in person and virtually. Well, we're hosting in person and virtually thanks to our event sponsors, and we're really appreciative. And we're going to start things off with none other than Kurt Barker, partner at Best and Krieger. Kurt, what do you got for me?
Thanks. Thank you. Kurt Barker, Best and Krieger. Can we give a quick shout out to our hardworking bartender? He's been doing great. We like to try and have a little bit of fun up here, so I have $100 that you can spend with this gentleman. $100 to Silver Moon. Do you know the giveaway routine? If you've been to PubTalk before, you just need to be the first person to send me an email. Please put in the subject line the answer to the question I'm about to ask. First person to send one. This will be easy, by the way. You might want to get ready if you want to win. First person to send me the name of an animal rescue program or shelter here in Central Oregon. Easy. I'm trying to warm up the stage for dogs, right? Right, we're dog friendly here in town. All right, we'll try and give that away when I'm done. While the answers are coming in, I'll just quickly point out, I don't want to talk too much shop, but you know, I'm what kind of an attorney? An employment attorney.
An employment attorney.
Thank you so much. We're seeing a real spike in claims right now. So not to get dark or scary, but lots more employees are going after their employers. Just thought I'd throw out a quick plug. One of the best ways to lower the chance of getting one of those claims darkening your door, or to look way better if you get one, do a management training with your local friendly employment attorney. No, I love doing them. More clients asking for them live these days, but we do them by Zoom as well. I think any anti-harassment training is, of course, the right thing to do, but we can cover a lot more than that. Practical documentation and how to get her done and avoid claims with your employees. So reach out if you have any questions about how we do that. I'd love to work with you. And let's see, I think we have the first answer from Laura Melgarejo Silva. Street Dog Hero, yeah. We adopted from Raleigh project, but Street Dog Hero is awesome. Are you here? Yes. Yay. Good, we got a winner. Thank you so much. Have a great time.
Wow, that's so fun. I love that you warmed up the stage for dogs. Tell me more. Congratulations to the winner. That's so fun. Thanks, Kurt. I love that you are the prize guy. That's really, I look forward to it every time. Okay, next up, Jordan Smith, President and CEO, VLOC Systems, Edco's IT solution. Jordan, I have not seen you in a while, so get on up here. Tell us what's what.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I haven't been here for a month or two. Well, not last month, the month before. So here we are. It's good to see you all. It's good to see the stage. This is much cooler than it was before. My name is Jordan Smith. Real quick, I just want to do a toast to the PubTalk. We have entrepreneurs presenting here, new businesses, and that's super cool because it often gets overlooked, but an artist can look at a blank canvas and create something that wasn't there before, right? And entrepreneurs, you guys that are coming up here pitching new businesses, new products, you're making something, you're making money out of something that wasn't there before. The contract didn't exist before, the product didn't exist before, the market didn't exist before. And that's pretty cool because lots of us go to work to earn money. You go in by the hour, and you're earning money, but to actually make money out of nothing is a unique thing, and the people coming up here on stage get to share their ideas on how they do that. And some of them do it and do it really well and make it all the way to BVC and get funding and all that stuff. So cheers to you guys that are making money out of nothing. We recognize you and honor you. So VLOC Systems, real quick. I guess my management team would want me to tell you what we do. We're an IT services provider for businesses, so we become the IT department for our clients. So we serve that kind of chief information officer role where we will sit with your kind of leadership team and design a strategy to put the infrastructure in place on which your business can thrive. Our goal is to make money for our clients. So one of our core values is to provide value, and that is something we like to do for our clients. Work with them to see how technology, automation, labor, staff requirement reduction, all that stuff can actually put money onto the bottom line. So if you have any questions about that or want to learn more about what we do and how we do that, we have a really cool team of people that help our clients do that. I'd love to talk to you. So Jordan Smith, VLOC Systems. Have a good night.
Thanks, Jordan. You do have a really cool team. I like your team of people. Also, business artists. You are business artists. I like that. That's really sweet. Special thanks to returning title sponsors Providence Health Plan and Columbia Bank. Columbia Bank is a proud sponsor of EDCO and the PubTalk series serving Central Oregon's banking needs. Columbia is your go-to personal touch when it comes to banking. Thanks, Chris DuPont and team. So thank you for all of the extra love for the attendees tonight, Kurt, and every time. I'm wondering if we've already started spending the $100, or are you holding on to it for a while, or let me know later. Virtual attendees, I hope you're cozy at home while tuning in. On the right side of your screen is a chat bar, so you can type your questions and your comments in there. Along the way, they'll find their way to me just as if you were in the room with us, which, technically you are. And for those of you here at Silver Moon, you just raise your hand, and if you need help with that, ask the person next to you, and if they can't help you, well, you didn't sit next to the right person. Okay, on to tonight's companies. The company update tonight is sponsored by supporting sponsors COAR. The Central Oregon Association of Realtors is the voice of real estate industry in Crook, Deschutes, Jefferson, and Harney counties. COAR's members strive to build better communities by supporting quality growth, seeking sustainable economies, and housing opportunities. And a special thanks to Central Oregon Association of Realtors for your financial support of the Youth Career Connect program, fostering internships across Central Oregon. And COCC, we love COCC. Central Oregon Community College provides workforce training that works. From career and technical education to apprenticeship opportunities, leadership workshops to the Small Business Development Center, COCC is the source for entrepreneurial, workforce, and business education services. Find out how COCC can help you develop the customized training you need to take your business and your employees to the next level. And you can contact COCC's Ken Betchart to learn more. Do y'all love podcasts? Are you podcast people? Yeah, podcast people. Who isn't a podcast person? Come on. Nota is a content platform that revolutionizes how millions of people experience podcasts. Nota takes you beyond the episode and makes podcasts even better with visual show notes. This is so cool. Nota first took the PubTalk stage virtually back in May of 2020 when CEO Brian Wald was looking for an experienced developer to build upon his existing MVP. I'm excited to hear how the company has grown and what Brian envisions for the future. So where are you, Brian? Get on up here. All right, come on up. Nice to see you.
Thank you. I had a 7-hour layover in Denver airport yesterday, so that's a big airport, but that's a lot of time to kill. Anyway, it's great to be here, and as you mentioned, last time was virtual, so this is very nice to be here in person. So I want to thank the PubTalk team for having me back for this update. My original PubTalk, we were on the verge of launching a mobile app for the iPhone. And more specifically, it was a podcast player that was going to be able to allow people to see, save, and share the most interesting things mentioned in their favorite podcast episodes. Turns out that building a podcast player that's as good as Apple and Spotify functionality-wise and brings in all these visual notes is a little easier said than done. So we got close. This is the bad part of the update. We got close. We went through 3 different developers to try to get this project done. So my co-founder and I had gone through 3 iterations of people telling us, I got the concepts. You're going to bring these visual notes in with the podcast. It's going to show the books, the videos, all the things they're talking about. Piece of cake, I can build it. Time and time again, they just fell short. So after the 3rd failure, my partner and I said, do we give up? Like, no way, because during this process, we got to talk to so many people within the podcast community, and they all were like, that's a great idea. As soon as you guys launch, let me know. I'm going to get on your platform. So we said, well, we're not going to give up, but we can't continue to fund this thing by paying people to do the software development that we couldn't do on the mobile side. So instead, we said, let's just pivot. Let's get back to basics. When we first thought of this idea, what did we want to do? We wanted to make it very easy for people who are listening to podcasts to easily access the most noteworthy things mentioned in those episodes. How can we do this? Well, my partner is a seasoned web developer. I have business development and marketing and product skills. Let's just build a mobile-friendly website version. So we kind of went back to MVP, and so far it's been really good. There's a lot of advantages to actually having a web-based platform versus a mobile app. First of all, mobile apps, there's some friction there. In order to access all that content, you have to install an app. Well, if I'm a podcast player, why am I going to choose Nota over Spotify, Pocket Casts, Overcast, et cetera? There's a lot less friction. Second is that now we are the controllers of our destiny. We are not reliant on a third party or another developer. My partner and I can do all the work. Third, it saves a lot of money. With a podcast player, there's all sorts of third-party services and crawlers and things that are always spinning, and you're paying the bills for this stuff even if no one's using it. So a mobile side, a lot cheaper. Fourth and final thing is that when you build a website, all the content you put on that website, it lives in the internet, and it gets indexed by Google. And so now I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but that's probably the biggest thing that we've seen having a web-based internet platform versus the mobile app. So we've created a website. We built the back end. We do our content management, our publishing. That's been all built in-house. And in terms of kind of where we're at now, we have integrated 30 really popular podcasts onto the platform. And collectively, these podcasts represent around 30 to 50 million monthly listeners. So I think Tim Ferriss, Joe Rogan, Freakonomics Radio, All In podcast. So we just went out and said, let's find 30 really good, noteworthy podcasts. Let's bring them in. Let's get their content onto the site. So we've got those 30. This is all kind of in a soft launch. We haven't done any marketing. We're just kind of building. We're still a foundational stage, testing everything, kicking the tires. But we've had about 600 episodes that have been published through our platform, and about 7,000 individual note cards are now part of the Nota.fm ecosystem. And the biggest benefit we've seen so far is that we're getting traffic for free. So when people are searching Joe Rogan show notes, we're now on the first page of Google. And that happened in just several months, which is pretty exciting because there's other websites that have been doing Joe Rogan show notes for years, and within a few months, we're already above them. So we've kind of structured the website in a way that's very SEO friendly. And because of that, the way that the architecture is and some of the tricks that we've done in terms of labeling things, we're getting a lot of really good traffic simply from people doing searches on relevant podcasts. So month over month, our user base is growing. Our next steps, starting Monday, we're going to be proactively going out and talking to podcasters directly, getting them on board, and using them as evangelists to help grow our audience. So we have a podcaster. Actually, we have a local podcast. You guys should check this out. It's called the Circling Podcast by Adam Short. He is a longtime Bend resident. Great podcast because he talks about everything related to Central Oregon, business leaders, community leaders. He just sits down and just picks their brain. Anyway, I met him, and he now works with Nota, and he just sends me his content every time he publishes an episode. And he says, hey, Brian, get this up. Boom, it's done. But the benefit is he's telling all of his listeners, hey, people listening to this podcast, if you want to see all the things I'm talking about, go find me on Nota.fm. So it's a nice little strategy there. And then lastly, I guess, the only, you're supposed to have an ask, right? If anyone knows a podcaster or somebody in the podcast space, would love to get introduced to them. And if anyone knows a talented web designer, might have some project work available for them. But otherwise, the update is my co-founder and I are kind of humming along right now. We're playing the long game. We're just getting content, flooding the podcast space with relevant content.
This is a great update, Brian. Yeah. So cool.
Thank you.
I loved when you presented back in May of 2020, and I love that you've made this big change. It makes so much more sense for the two of you. A fun fact, Joe Rogan and I share a birthday. The third person I share a birthday with, or the second person I share a birthday, Hulk Hogan. Yeah, I just wanted to share that with you all. Makes sense if you think about it. So what's been your favorite part about making this big pivot?
Actually just seeing traffic to our website without us spending a dime.
Yeah, like it could be easy.
And so, and I'm a marketer. I can spend money all day and bring in traffic, but this is really just kind of a simple, free, organic thing that we're seeing. And the moment somebody starts mentioning, Joe Rogan has 11 million users. And one day he just says, hey, I'm talking all this stuff, but if you go to Nota, you can find it all.
So cool.
If we just take 5% of that audience, we now are close to a couple million people overall using the website.
Oh, that's so fun. That's so fun. August 11th. So if anyone wants to know. Okay, any questions for Brian? Yes, in the back. Okay, she wants to know, she said you mentioned a lot of male podcasters. Do you have any female-oriented podcasts?
None that I personally do the management for. My partner's daughter does some fashion ones, and I'm blanking on the name.
You need help. She says you need help.
Do you want to do it?
Do you want to help?
No, so I mean, there's a rationale for this. It has nothing to do with gender. It's simply certain podcasts, they have a level of cadence that's manageable or not manageable. If you have a podcast that publishes every single day, it's hard to keep up with putting notes in the system. You can also have podcasts that don't have anything relevant to that's really noteworthy.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Yes. Okay. But no, there's certain podcasts that are really like, they're talking about videos and they're talking about product and they want to promote their sponsors. So we've had to like kind of thin out who we want to support manually. So we're not doing a full automation. We're grabbing some stuff automatically, but then we're having to put a manual layer to curate some of this content.
Right,
We have to
these
be
are
very
podcasts
thoughtful.
that have to work with the platform.
Right, so it's what's our biggest ROI bang for the buck? And there's certain podcasts that have millions of listeners And they also have easily accessible links to their show notes that we can automatically grab.
Like
So there's-
creatine powders and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
What about the Goop? Isn't Goop a podcast? I feel like that's got a lot of stuff.
Goop is a great podcast, but Goop, Gwyneth, does not provide any show notes for her podcast. They're not in the
gotcha.
description. They're not on the website. They're not any sort of third-party tools. So we can't grab her. I'd have to listen to Goop every day to get it, and I'm not going to do that.
You're not going to do that, Brian.
that's-
You know what? I'm
I'm
not
not the
going to do
target
that. I'm
audience
not
for
going to
Goop.
do that, Brian. But you're obviously open to, like, once people understand the type of podcast you're looking for, like, send it Brian's way.
Of course. So the next thing would be, I'd love to work with Goop and just say, hey, great episode. Can you send me 10 links from that episode? Done. And we put it in the system. and
What
it's
about
done.
My Favorite Murder? Isn't that what it's called?
That's another one, but
yeah,
again,
no show notes.
so we are going
not
to next
selling
step is to
anything, right?
approach people like them and
Yeah.
say, we've already support these podcasts. We want to work with you directly, but we can't get your show notes easily.
Yeah.
Can you send it to us?
Yeah.
And we'll manually do it for you.
And then can you work in some product placement, like toothpaste or whatever? Yeah.
They all have sponsors
Yeah,
that
no,
they
they
want to
do.
promote, and now visually they can say to their advertiser, I'm going to read it on air, and it's going to be shown here, and you're going to be able to see how many people clicked on it and how many people saw it. So get some analytics.
And so what would be like the ideal number of podcasts that you'd have listed? Just, is this infinite or?
It's not the whole universe of podcasts because show notes don't make sense for every
I would
podcast,
hope
but it's
not.
going to be, could be hundreds or thousands, and that would require probably a team or better automation. But I envision at some point having some category level account managers that say, I own the finance category or business category, and I support 50 different finance, Dave Ramsey show and Freakonomics. I understand best practices on how to promote their content. I manage and input and give them reporting. So maybe a selection of account managers
Yeah.
that by vertical would be the,
It's very cool.
be nice.
It's very cool. Okay, any other? Okay, yes, right here. What's your revenue model?
it will be ad-based. So I'm an ads guy, worked at Facebook, Yahoo, everything's feed related. I'm just not gonna break the system. I'm gonna kind of do what Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter kind of make their bread and butter. There'd be room for some level of premium services, things, rev share, things like that, but in general, the way that the content comes in on mobily, when you listen to an episode, all the note cards, it's almost like Instagram posts. They just feed down. There's no reason why in the fourth slot it couldn't be an ad unit. And we'd ultimately like to do a rev share with that podcaster. So, hey, podcaster, we're going to bring in stamps.com. It's going to be in the fourth slot here. We'll give you 50% of that revenue, and we'll take 50%, which gives the podcaster a little bit of incentive to say, hey, you guys, you can listen anywhere, but if you go to Nota.fm, I kind of get credit for it.
Oh, that's brilliant. So it probably would help people to take a look. So Nota.fm, it's Noto.fm, is that right?
Nota.
Nota.
.fm.
Oh, man.
Yeah, just do Nota.fm/Rogan if you want to see what a sample of an episode would be like.
Yeah, cool. I think it always helps to have a visual. Well, I'm great. It's great to hear from you. I
Thank you
love
for
that you
having
made
us.
the changes. Yeah, and I hope
Yeah.
you'll keep us updated. You'll come back
Yeah,
again.
it's exciting. It's nice to be in the control of your own destiny. It was
Yeah, I
very
hear you.
challenging to have somebody. When it comes to mobile app full stack engineering development, that is way over my head.
Yeah.
And it's over my partner's head. He's a great web developer, but that's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
And I got to give credit to Jesse here real quick, our keynote speaker coming up. So much love. So what I really appreciate is that when we're getting close to launch, our developer said, oh, we got this. You guys, we're ready to go. I got introduced to Jesse, and we talked a bit, and I really trusted him. And I said, Jesse, do you mind taking a look under the hood here? Because I can't read code. I'm not a coder. Can you kind of understand the architecture and let me know what this developer is telling me? Is it ready for prime time? Jesse sat down, took the time, talked, and he politely said, I don't think it's really built to last at this point. And as a dream, he killed my dream, but he was honest and trustworthy, and I appreciated that. And that led us to really have a tough conversation with the developer, go down another path, and but it saved us a lot of time. So I appreciate an entrepreneur who's had a lot of success,
Yeah.
comes and helps a
Yeah,
startup
that's invaluable.
entrepreneur, and
Well, and good for you to be like, okay, yeah, I'm open to that. I trust you. You're the
Yeah.
person to listen to on this, and so
Yeah.
let's try it a different way. That's, I think, really important characteristic to have in
Yeah.
what you're doing. Well, awesome.
all right,
Great
thank you.
to have you, Brian.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, check it out. Nota, Nota.fm. I can spell. I can spell, I promise. Thanks again, Brian. It's really nice to have you back and great to have you in person. Remember the days of doing things from our houses? It was like soft pants on the bottom. I don't miss that part. I'm just gonna say I don't miss that part. I don't miss that part. Kelly Michael, EDCO Director of Membership Development, has been busy since joining the team in August. New EDCO members include Tradecraft Insights, Crosspoint Capital, Tina Stocks with Paylocity, Solution Harbor Inc., Cascade Valuation Services, Wardlow Law, LLC, Rare Waters, Peak Euro, Ryan Scott with Vista Psych, Lab Zero, Hermans and Associates, Square Baby, Don Harm's Patent Attorney, Connect Air, and East Cascade Works. She wanted me to tell you that there are QR codes on the tables throughout Silver Moon tonight where you can easily sign up for EDCO membership or reach out to her directly to learn more. Thank you, Kelly, and well done. You are absolutely crushing it. Okay, tonight's company pitch is sponsored by Sensiba San Filippo. SGA has merged with Sensiba San Filippo. Merging with a larger firm increased resources for our clients and staff beyond our current capacity. As a B Corp, we are passionate about sustainable, purposeful business and have a team that can help your business do the same. Reach out to Amber Yates for more details. And of course, BBSI. What is the BBSI Central Oregon team thankful for? EDCO and PubTalk are at the top of the list. BBSI provides payroll, HR and recruiting, risk and safety, and business consulting services to help keep you on track. Have you heard of Paid Leave Oregon? If you are an Oregon employer, you are participating. And it starts on January 1st, right around the corner. Before the tryptophan, Black Friday, and the Holiday Bowl season kicks in, give us a call. We'll help you out. That's what we do. Happy holidays from your BBSI Central Oregon team. So, co-founder Russell Easter created Good Dog Gravy out of love and frustration. CBD oil was clearly responsible for his dog's miraculous health improvement, and the traditional CBD delivery methods just weren't working. So Russell created Good Dog Gravy. Co-founder Stu Hicks came on board with a head start developing CBD products, including experience using CBD to manage his adult onset muscular dystrophy. Stu is here tonight to discuss the team's vision for the business and offer attendees an opportunity to participate in a free trial of Good Dog Gravy. I think you know I'm into it, Stu. Come on up and tell us some more. And do you like a mic stand or do you want to hold it? You've got a mic stand and
Oh, I'll
yeah,
just hold
okay,
it
great.
here. Hi, I'm Stu Hicks, and thank you, Shannon, for kicking off the evening and all that you do. Deanne and John, everybody at EDCO, thanks for having us up here. A shout out goes to our founder, Russ. Russ was in a car accident this weekend, and he's got 6 broken ribs, which he didn't discover until today. So picked up a little flu, started to cough. Hospital says, "Guy, you've got 6 broken ribs." So shout out Russ. Again, I'm Stu Hicks. I have a little company in town that does product and visioneering for entrepreneurs, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but that sets up how I come into this story. The story really begins with our founder, Russ. And Russ is a lifelong dog owner. I'm a lifelong dog owner as well. So a quick show of hands, how many in the audience here owns dogs or owns a dog? Well, I think this is our audience. Yeah. Well, we are in Dogtown, USA. So 2012, Pet Fancy magazine claimed that we are a dog town. And so we use that heavily in our marketing, as you would imagine. Russ came to me, and his journey with CBD had started like mine in 2016 when we all started to hear about CBD probably. He described a story about his 2 dogs. So Russ was the guy that he helped Dan Hoban launch G5. He was the guy with the 2 golden retrievers under his desk every day. And he talked about how London and Leo would race to the car at the end of their hikes and jump into the back of the pickup. And London, his oldest, hit the tailgate with his chest and goes sliding up under the tailgate, and he looks up on the way, and Russ tells a story, that terror in his eyes. And Russ realized, my dog's getting old, and he's seen this before. Russ has owned the father and the son and the father and son since he was 7 years old. And so here he is faced with, another beloved family member in this condition. And he had started to hear about CBD, and so he went down to the store and got what was offered to him was tinctures, right? And they said, hold the snout of the dog and get the tinctures in there. Sure enough, by day 3, he was getting the middle knuckle from the dog, and so they'd see the tincture bottle come out, and he'd run. He wouldn't come to his kibble. So he goes back and trades that in, and is told to get treats. And as he looked at the bag, he said, I wouldn't feed these ingredients to my dog every day, no way. And he thought about when he was in college and didn't have any money, he used to have a neighbor who was a butcher who brought home scraps, and they put in sweet potato and carrots, and they would make a puree to go on the dogs so that they'd have actually a good, healthy supplement on their cheap food. And he goes, maybe that'll work for the drops. And so he went back and got the drops, and he started making gravy. And both his dogs just turned around. Russ said that within the first 5 days, London was back jumping into the car. And this is what we've seen consistently. If anybody's used CBD for their pets in any way or for themselves, it really is miraculous with pets. And it is with humans too. We're a little more complex. But so this is where he basically comes up with a commitment to his dogs. Fast forward into COVID, both pass away in 1 year, in the first year of COVID. And Russ is working from home and is in a pretty bad condition, lonely, right? And he makes a commitment. He says, I will not get a new family member, a new pet, until I bring this product onto the market. It takes a little while. He started to see the challenges of bringing an all-natural, healthy, shelf-stable product to the market. And he came to me not too long later, about a year ago, and he knew that I'd had some background in CBD. And so for me, I'd had a miraculous, I wouldn't be able to come up those steps a few years ago. I'm able to climb up Tumalo Mountain and do all the things that I do. I just raised a Rottweiler, little guy, fostered for a year, turned into a big guy. And I do all this after CBD's miraculous recovery that I had with CBD in 2016. And since then, I helped, we have one of the most high-yield farms in Central Oregon. I've helped people get products in the market from Malibu to Manhattan, and I was deeply entrenched in human CBD products. And I hadn't done much with pet, but I said, I think this guy's got a good idea, and I think he's got the heart of the customer. We, early on in getting the product onto the market, we went down to the #1 pet retailer show in America. It's called Super Zoo out of Las Vegas. 20,000 retailers are there, 2,000 vendors. On the marquee, we see the #1 trend in pet is all natural, healthy, human grade. So we high-fived and went through the show and realized none of the CBD providers were accentuating anything about all natural in their products. They were putting taking human tinctures and putting pet wrap on the labels. Same thing with their treats. Martha Stewart to mom and pop, nobody was doing it. So we, at the time that the market was about 142 million, that was in 2020, 20 to 2021. Now it's between 400 and 500 million, with expectations by 2028 that it'll be a 5 billion to 500 billion market. So we're really, really excited about what we're doing. We know that no one else is doing it, bringing out a product that's all natural and healthy as it should be in pet CBD. Let's see a little more background about our management team. That, as you know, all of you entrepreneurs know that when you're onto something that's genuine and authentic, people start to show up, right? And we had worked with a fantastic consultant. A shout out goes to Christine Couvalier out of Vancouver. She was a consultant who helped us in sauces, and we interviewed over 200 co-packers in North America to find out who could help us produce an all-natural, healthy pet CBD, shelf-stable. And along that way, we found the fellow who's the chief scientist for brands you might recommend or recall, Eukanuba and Iams. And when we explained our quest, he said, I will do it. And again, entrepreneurs know that when you've got the right thing, people don't charge you. He would barely charge us because it was his passion to bring an all-natural product onto the market too. No one has been asking him to do that. So we're really, really excited about where we are. Where we are as a company today is we have our beta is on the market. It's our MVP. This is actually one of 3 types of gravy that we offer. We have this is our original. We also offer a calming gravy for pets 6 years old and up, or pets who are just prone to anxiety. And we also offer a senior gravy now. We just launched last month, and we're seeing about an 80% absorption rate. And so what we're doing is a trial. You can go online today to gooddawggravy.com and get on a 10-day trial. And about 80% are converting to subscriptions. So that's going to be our model. We're subscriptions and online. And our next, I guess our ask would be support another Dogtown USA product. For our larger ask, we're probably a few months away from our seed round. And that's when we bring in our final team member for our management deck. And this is a team that has that launched Hyder Flask and Roughwear online, did $50 million in 2 years on both of those companies, and also did the #1 human CBD, profitable human CBD company online in America for the past 2 years. They had never done anything with pet. They're super excited about what we can do. And we will, again, that would be an offline conversation we could have about some of that seed.
Wow, this is great. This is really cool. I think, yeah, how about a round of applause? For me, the only thing that's really missing right now is an actual dog, but we could get there.
Right.
We can get there, maybe next month or what, next
dog.
January,
But we
bring
could get
dogs
there.
into PubTalk. We can get
Okay,
there, maybe
talk
next
to me
month
about
or what,
how
January,
but we could
bring
get
dogs
there.
into
CBD is
PubTalk.
different
We can
from
get
human
maybe
CBD.
next month or
About
something specific that makes, is there need to be a different formula or, okay.
Okay, great. That's a great question. So that goes to the heart and the root of Russ's love and frustration. He knew that the CBD would work, but he'd heard so much about it. He was frustrated because the current market then and still now is essentially tinctures and treats, and tinctures are acidic by nature. And so they have to be, the dogs will reject a human tincture, and most humans will reject a human tincture too, but, right? So they're masked with flavors, and these flavors are chemically made, and they're just, they can be pretty bad. There's some other things that happen with tinctures as well. The carrier oils, most of the bottle is a carrier oil, and the carrier oils typically are MCT oils. And MCTs are medium chain triglycerides, and they can be really good for us when they come to us in a really good source. The problem in the pet market and most of the CBD market is the source is palm kernel, and it carries long chain triglycerides, and those are the #1 cause of pancreatitis and fatty liver disease in dogs. So we see right away that there's tinctures and they have a lot of problems. Yeah.
Okay, so it's important to have a dog-specific product. And then I have another question. You're saying all natural, but I know that term can be a little loosey-goosey in
Right.
this country. So for you, what does all natural mean?
Good question. That's where our secret sauce is in the gravy. So the gravy is made with the #1 product in it is water, and after that comes sweet potato and carrot and bone broth, and then we have a liver, and the liver is our chief scientist is just, he's just a miracle man, and he's been wanting to do this all his life, and he knew right out of the gates how he could get to what our product is. And what he does is he goes into the forest and he brings out something that's like a banana, and he gets into that banana and he gets an enzyme and he mixes it with liver, and that enzyme is like a dog's digestion, and over time it breaks down the liver and it comes out at an acidic level that when our products go in, when our sweet potato goes in and our carrot and our bone broth go in and our CBD, our pH still remains at a shelf-stable level. And so right now, in fact, this product is one that I brought to us that was packed, and this is our very first product that we ever packed. And it's not showing any, we see a little separation. We've changed our CBD formula a little bit, but any kind of growth.
That's so cool. Okay, I know you all probably have questions. I have plenty of questions, so if you don't, okay, yes, right here. Yeah.
I'm a big
Big fan of CBD.
But I've asked my vet about CBD. I have a 11-year-old lab dog who's starting to slow down, and I've asked her about CBD for my dog, and she has said it, and she's a pretty progressive naturopathic, and she said no.
Okay, so
Research isn't there. And so what are you guys doing? I mean, I love this idea. I love how
Yeah.
but what are you guys doing to sort of counteract that?
Well,
okay, so, just one sec.
Yeah,
So she went to the vet, and her vet says there's not enough research to support CBD for dogs. Her dog is aging. She's interested. What are you doing to address this?
Well, so we published three sources on our website of studies. And the first on the highlight is from Cornell's veterinary school. And the Cornell study is the one now that the industry is really digging into and touting on the scientific level, companies that are built on the science of this thing. So Cornell gives us some really, really, really good guidelines on the amount of CBD for the dog. Now, there's a lot of other things. There's factors that go into what your vet may have, why she didn't suggest it. And one of those is that if your dog is taking medicine that needs to be metabolized by the body in order to become functional in your body, CBD can have the effect of minimizing some of that metabolization. This hemp plant is really a miraculous plant in a lot of ways, but one of the things it does is it can absorb toxins as well as good things like the medicine and out of the blood system, and you pass it. So that may be one of the things if your dog's on a prescription medication that again requires it to be metabolized in the body. That's not all prescription medication. So if your dog's on prescription, doesn't mean you can't have CBD. You just want to ask your vet, hey, does this medicine, is it metabolized in the body, or is it come already ready to be, the body to use it? So.
And maybe it's a case-by-case thing. Like, I have heard some different information about, like, is it appropriate for puppies? At what age does CBD become appropriate for a dog?
That's a great question. So as I mentioned, we have 3 in our product line now, including a calming gravy, we call it. It's also, we make it very clear, it's also really suitable for younger pets. And so here's the studies that Cornell, and now these are published at the National Institutes of Health. There's also a study out of Cambridge, across the pond, and the American Kennel Club. Those are the 3 that we keep on our website. But these studies that go back to the root level, that mammals have an endocannabinoid system. And scientists were studying it back in the 90s to figure out how does this stuff work if you smoke it, and they realized, well, there's a lot of medicinal benefits, and that's because this endocannabinoid system has receptors and it produces proteins. So your body produces what you might smoke, believe it or not. It stops, like other hormones, like estrogen and testosterone and human growth hormone, your body stops producing that in mid-age. And so for dogs, that's about 5 or 6 or 7 years old. It depends on the species, it depends on the breed, depends on the dog. We see a lot of larger dogs that are younger, that are 2 or 3 or 4 years old. We have one right now, Daphne, is up in Seattle, and she's 4 years old, and she's a St. Bernard Pyrenees, and she's just really, really anxious. And so we started to create our gravy, and we knew enough not about it. So we don't want to pack her with a bunch of CBD that we would use from older dog. I use a different CBD that's more like the precursor that we make in the body. Okay, it's a raw form of CBD, and this dog she's our first subscriber. She just 5 days. She was like, "This is incredible. This dog."
She was on her computer, like,
exactly.
"Get it to my house."
Yeah, right.
Daphne.
Exactly. Yeah. Good dog.
Very savvy dog.
Right.
Okay, any other questions for Stu? Yes. How much does it
thanks,
cost?
Yeah. So this box is only 10. This is free. We actually are doing a trial.
That's a great
Can't have
price,
this one
Stu.
though, because this one still might kill you. I'm not
I
sure.
really love that price.
But no, but we are doing a 30-day box, and that 30-day one-time box is $99. And for the amount of CBD, the quality of this product, it's about 75% under the market. But so those of you who take CBD know what a month's tincture, et cetera. So, and then we also are doing a subscription. And so our subscription tonight, we can offer to anybody who jumps on at 50% discount off of that price. Yeah. So Dogtown USA is the term Dogtown is our discount code.
Dogtown is the code. Dogtown. Okay, I have one more question. So, because I think this is probably the next question, right? Like, you can get CBD at the gas station, you can get it at the friggin' corner store, you can get it at the market, you can get it chocolate, you can get it all over the place, and it's not all created equally.
Right.
And people don't really know this yet, and I think this probably does play into where some of these vets are a little bit cautious,
Yeah.
because there's a real
Yeah.
range of products, where it
Yeah.
comes from, how it's
Yeah.
processed, the quality. Maybe speak to that.
Shannon, thank you, because I think you've done your research. We have, our CBD is produced outside of Central Oregon. We grow it here. I've grown it here, but we produce it on the East Coast because it's the only manufacturer that we could find that was already in the food chain system and had an approved for human food extraction process. So, like I said, I got into this to the field pretty early, and I've seen people do use a lot of different kinds of chemicals to extract, and so this is a safe for human food extraction process that we use to create our CBD that goes into the.
So I could squirt one of them calming blends on my soup and just
Go for it.
take a chill
Go for
pill.
it. Go
Stu,
for
this
it.
is awesome. I love how much you care about this product, and I'm really excited to see where it goes next. The code is Dogtown for 50% off, but you do get the 10-day trial, so sign up. Whether you have a dog, or maybe you have a friend who has a dog, or maybe you know someone who has 2 dogs. I don't know. Thank you so much. It's awesome. Thank you. Well done. Great pitch. I love dogs. I love them so much. Dogs, pastries, and friends is the best part of life. Okay, I lost myself for a second there. Thanks, Stu. It was really beautifully done. So on to our keynote. I know you're all excited about this one. Sponsored by Bend Broadband, who is making an official transition to TDS here in Central Oregon. They got a rebranding party. It's tonight, and you're all invited. So thank you, TDS. And I know that some of you already know Jesse. He has joined us on the PubTalk stage before wearing his Elemental Technologies CTO hat. Tonight, he joins us to talk about building a successful tech company and reinvesting in the broader community. Jesse Rosenzweig is a Colorado native, but a longtime Oregonian. He is the co-founder and former CTO of Elemental Technologies, which received investment at the 2007 Bend Venture Conference. Elemental Technologies, now AWS Elemental, is a software company headquartered in Portland, owned by Amazon Web Services, that specializes in multi-screen video compression and streaming technology. That technology is used by content creators or broadcasters to compress, format, and deliver live and on-demand video content to millions of viewers. Jesse currently lives with his family in Bend, enjoying his passions in the outdoors, and continues to be an active investor, entrepreneur, and technology enthusiast. Jesse, I suppose you are really the true testament to those that wonder how BBC investing in startups in Central Oregon actually kind of does come back around, right? So this is very exciting. Okay, I'm going to let you take it away.
All right.
Jesse Rosenzweig.
Thanks, Shannon. Thank you. Can I move this? I've got some slides. I know it's kind of faux pas to have slides, but there's some fun ones in this one. Thanks, Shannon, so much. My wife really loves your emceeing, and so do I. It's really hard to do, so it's a skill that I don't have, so thank you so much. And Edco, thanks so much for having me. Round of applause for the Edco. It's really hard work to do this, and yeah, it's a really special thing we do here in Bend. So so like Shannon said, my name is Jesse Rosenzweig. I was a co-founder and CTO of Elemental Technologies. We founded it with 3 of us founders, Brian Lewis and Sam Blackman. And it was 2006 when we started. Who streams video now at their house, on a computer? Some people aren't raising their hands. It's really surprising. Okay, yeah, everybody. It used to not be that easy, if anybody remembers before that. So we kind of take it for granted that it's really easy now. I'd like to say we are a big part of that. So we also have Don Nelke in the house. He was one of our first employees. I just want to call out. So thanks for coming, Don. He lives here too in Bend, so he can vouch for anything I say, I think. Anyway, so I grew up in Colorado in a small ski town, Steamboat Springs, and when I wasn't out on the rivers or in the snow playing, I was playing on my computer and coding. I was one of the only kids doing that. But I really enjoyed it. I kind of embraced technology and computer software, and went to school in Boulder and met my wife, Holly, who's also here tonight. Thanks for coming. She and I moved to Portland about 20 years ago, and we started our lives together there. Holly had a successful career in her degree, which was PhD in medical research. I didn't practice that as much. Anyway. We started Pixelworks, and Sam Blackman and Brian Lewis, we all met there. Brian Lewis is an amazing person. He's the most intelligent guy you probably ever met. He's a humbling, intelligent person. I thought I was hot shit coming out of school and just like sailed through computer science and love computers, and like you meet Brian, he's just like blows you away. Just could always anticipate challenges technically and was amazing at solving them too. And Sam Blackman, some of you may have known him. He tragically died in 2017 of a cardiac arrest. He was an amazing leader, just an amazing person. You'd follow him off a cliff if he said to do that, and it was going to be cool. And so yeah, we were a really great team. So the three of us started it. This is actually a picture of Sam pitching at Ben Venture Conference. So we had an amazing demo. So we had this idea that there was going to need to be video converted between the sources and these destinations. And at the time, there was these iPod Nanos and iPods that had screens on them. That's pretty much there's a few other devices out there. But we could tell that in the future, there was going to be devices at different resolutions, different capabilities. And it was going to be challenging to get all of that to work for broadcasters and people that actually made content. That was their they want to focus on the content. They don't want to focus on all this complexity about streaming. And so around that time, NVIDIA, which is the GPU technology in computers and cars now, and I'm sure many people have heard of NVIDIA. It was a hot stock. It was also for Bitcoin mining. But NVIDIA came out with a GPU that was fully programmable. And we could take that GPU and do video processing on it in a speed that was 10 times faster than a regular CPU. So we had this amazing demo where you'd start up iTunes, and back then if you wanted to convert a DVD to work on your iPod, you'd start up iTunes and you'd click this button and you'd wait. It'd say like 2 hours to go to transcode this video. And then we could pull up our little demo and go boom, and it would go and it'd be done. Like 10 seconds. It was just so super compelling. I still get goosebumps thinking about how awesome that was. And it was super compelling to show to investors. And so we needed investment to build an actual product and a company out of this. So we went to Oregon Angel Fund was our first kind of helpers. The three of us had no business idea. We had no business building a business. We didn't know what we were doing. And the Oregon Angel Fund was really helpful in helping us get to that next level and teaching us what we didn't know. But around the same time, Ben Venture Conference, I think it was the second one that was holding a contest for startups, and we were able to pitch to them. And we showed them the demo. Sam had a super polished demo. I think some of you were in the room were there. And we won. We won Ben Venture Conference that year. So yes, thank you. Thank you. More importantly, yes, if anybody was an investor in the room, I'm happy to have bought you a beer tonight. We then took that same story to Alliance of Angels in Seattle. We were able to land that award, which is another set of money. We also had a lot of great friends and family that wanted to participate, so they jumped in on this note. And NVIDIA also became an investor as well. One of the highlights of my career was we got in this meeting with NVIDIA, and we had been working in this garage basically for a year and trying to build this demo and just on our own. And we got this meeting with NVIDIA and weren't sure what to expect. And we go down there with our demo, and we're setting up and we're getting ready. Sam's practicing, and in walks Jensen Huang, who's the CEO of NVIDIA. At the time, we were just like starstruck. Like this guy it's as if Bill Gates walked in here, for some of us anyway. Bill Gates is like, it's like, holy crap, Jensen's here. What do we, this is insane. And it was just like a dream come true. We show him the demo, and he's blown away. Everybody in the room are like looking at us. He turns to this guy, and ends up being the lead engineer of one of his teams, and he says, "I thought you said this was impossible." And the guy sheepishly kind of acknowledged that we did something pretty awesome. So I can talk more about that guy later. But anyway, the next thing he said was, what can we do for you guys? Like, how can we get you started? Like, this is amazing. You're doing exactly what we wanted to do with this chip, and want you to do something cool, and so how can we help? And so we decided we wanted to build a consumer product that converted video for your iPod, a real product, and NVIDIA kind of wanted to fund that and to invest in this Note. And so, let me see next. Yeah, he actually said this. We're going to save lives with this thing. He was so excited. So when we launched Bada Boom is the name of the media converter. When we launched this, we wanted to make some commercials. And so any Ben Venture Conference investors in the room will be happy to know we did not hire any professional actors or producers or writers for this commercial, but I want to give you an example of what we came up with.
Man, I've got to get this movie on my iPod. It's going to take 4 hours. I've got to miss my flight.
Allow me to assist you, madam. I too like watching movies on my iPod. Like this one time I saw these DVD players fall off the truck, and I got it all on tape. When the cops wanted proof, I had to put it on my iPod, and fast. Fortunately, I just opened up the file in Bada Boom, chose the iPod preset, hit the stop button, and Bada Boom, it's done.
Yeah, who needs professional actors, right? So Melissa Freeman, who maybe some of you know, was the star of that commercial. She's a really good friend of ours. She worked for Oregon Community Foundation for a long time. Now he works for Oregon Venture Fund. If you see her, please do not tell her she's the Bada Boom girl. So anyway, we were doing pretty good on this Bada Boom thing. It was consumer facing, pretty small margins. We weren't really excited about making this product. Well, I'm sorry. We were excited about making the product, but we weren't. That wasn't our dream. Our dream was to provide a server product that would go in a data center into a broadcaster, like a news broadcaster or a content provider like an HBO or a cable operator. So they have big data centers and racks of equipment, and we wanted to be a box in that big data center, processing all that video for the internet and doing all that hard stuff for them. So we needed more money for that, so we were able to successfully get a round of funding from a Series A round in 2008, June of 2008, from Voyager Capital out of Seattle, who we became really great friends with, and is a great relationship for the whole tour here, and General Catalyst also. But anybody remember what happened after June in 2008? Yeah. So just like the Millennium Falcon flying away from an exploding Death Star, we got $7 million right before the economic crash of 2008. So we were great. We had a great vehicle. We were in our Millennium Falcon, and we were flying, but our customers had no more money, no more budget, no more interest in really disrupting their world to add us to their product line. So we were building our product, and we did get a few customers in a couple industries that are recession-proof. Anybody have any ideas? Government, churches, one more, adult content, porn. Porn is recession-proof. And porn has a lot of video. They want to transcode that really fast, get it out there, right? So we had these three industries. This was literally on some of our slides for our board meeting as our pie chart of the 3 different industries that we had going here for our server product. The adult content, for some reason we called it the blue segment. Don't ask me why. I'm not sure. But so we had these 3 segments, and we were doing pretty well in each one, but you couldn't really reference one customer to the other industry, right? So we didn't really have that beachhead customer, flagship that we could really talk about. So we were doing okay, but this wasn't paying the bills. NVIDIA, the other thing we learned is that you come up with this big idea, especially you, this guy that said it was impossible at NVIDIA, now he's mad. So he starts to get his team going. And NVIDIA and Adobe started kind of cutting us out of the consumer world. They started building their own thing, put their own video technology inside the chip. And so it was rough. That was rough news. We weren't making it. This economy was terrible. We weren't able to sell into this business that we wanted to. And we had about 6 or 7 months of runway left. And runway was something we always talked about, right, Don? All of our employees knew how long we had to live. And it was a really challenging time. And so I remember vividly there was this holiday party right after this board meeting. And me and Sam and Brian walked into this room full of employees and their spouses, and just this huge, heavy feeling like that we weren't going to make it. We weren't going to make it to the next year, next holiday party. This was our last holiday party. So it's sort of a depressing holiday party for us, but we made it through that night. And then the next day, Sam and I and Brian got in a room and said, Sam said, we really need to work on giving back to the community. If we're going to go down, I want us to go down with some giving back, some time that we gave back. So he convinced us that we should all take the entire company and go work at the Oregon Food Bank the next day. So we all went to work at the Oregon Food Bank. We took half a day off, and it was an amazing experience. It was this bonding experience. We were in the doldrums of our company, our startup. We were pretty sure it was the end. There was no more investment coming. It was hard to get VC money at that time. And so, yeah, we just had this bonding moment, and it was sort of transformational. It was this experience that, yes, this is a good idea for a lot of reasons. This was sort of the beginning of our culture building for community investment. And then a miracle happened in 2010. Oh no, our sound. Hold on.
Go back 2 slides.
Okay. Sorry, Matt.
That was now go forward. Yeah, 1 more.
All this time I said I didn't care, but I do care. I care so much.
Do you want to blow out the candle?
Yes.
Go on. Go.
Oh, it did not just do that.
It did.
Buddy. Oh, who's ready for the first day of the rest of their lives?
All right, so Phil Dunphy from Modern Family summed it up pretty well. Once the iPad came out, there was immense excitement around it, not only for consumers, but the executives of every media and entertainment company in the country wanted to get their content on that iPad as fast as possible. The porn guys were ready to do that. The churches were ready to do that, but the media and entertainment folks were just sort of caught flat-footed. We literally get a call from HBO saying that, hey, our engineers told us it's going to take a year for us to get our content on that iPad for this project we called HBO Go, and we really want to do that. Is there anything? We heard you guys have some sort of solution that might work. And so we did some math and did some testing, and we decided, yeah, if you buy 7 of our boxes, you'll be able to transcode your entire library in about 2 months. So they said, deal, done. HBO Go was launched, super successful for HBO, and obviously for us, we had a non-porn customer we could talk about. We had ABC and NBC and CBS and all the news people and all the sports people coming to us and companies coming to us and wanting to do a deal. And so yeah, a lot of the iPad apps at that time in the beginning were powered by Elemental, so it was exciting times. We also built a live streaming solution, so live is a lot harder than kind of converting files. The other pinnacle of our career was the 2012 Olympics in London was run by the BBC. BBC wanted to do an all-digital Olympics. They wanted 5 or 6 camera angles per event on the iPad, on the TV, to 70 countries. And guess who powered that? Elemental. So, yeah, we successfully did that. And we started winning World Cup deals and lots of other live streaming, NBA, NHL. And it was just, you know, we're killing it, really. So it was a really fun time. And so in 2014, I don't know if anybody remembers these protests in San Francisco. I don't know if anybody remembers those. There was tech companies taking bus loads of people out of San Francisco and taking them to their jobs, and then taking them back in the evening. And a lot of the residents of San Francisco thought that was BS. They were blocking the traffic. They were just sort of, and it wasn't just about the buses. It was this gentrification. It was this idea that there was all these tech people living amongst this community, but they weren't living with the community. They weren't giving anything back to it. So Sam again brought us all in a room and said, you guys, I do not want to be represented. I do not want to be remembered for not giving anything back. And the success we're having, it's the time to double down on this. So we founded an Elemental Community Investment Program and put a whole program around it. We focused on environment, hunger, and education at first. After the acquisition, there was also housing was added. So we had these 4 areas. We would qualify organizations who wanted to be part of it. So it was a good experience for both the organizations as well as the volunteers. We had volunteer time off, which at the time was kind of a new idea. I know it's more and more common these days. But it was sort of our way of doubling down on this. We would also do a lot of metrics, and we found some amazing stats, like 88% of our employees thought this was a super important thing that we'd be doing. 25% of every person applying said that they were applying. One of the reasons was because of the community investment program. So it was one of those things that it became part of the culture, but we didn't really plan on it, and it was just this thing that became really valuable to the organization. Also, we had about 30 organizations, and then at the time we had offices in London and Singapore and Brazil. And what was really amazing is to see how those offices started snowballing and doing their own investment in their own communities and sort of following the lead there, especially with the program we built. We also did this awesome thing. Our marketing team came up with this idea of 4K for charity. So 4K TVs came out, Ultra HD, and this coincided with a big trade show. Hello? Yeah, a big trade show. And anybody who's been at a trade show, you usually stand around a lot, you eat a lot, you drink a lot, you stay up late. So what would be fun would be a 4K run in the morning. Everybody can do that. 4K is pretty easy. And we'd raise money for a local nonprofit. And the first one was in Amsterdam. And we were pretty small. The first one was pretty small. Raised some money, got everybody out, but it took off like wildfire. I don't know if Ian works for Dolby. I don't know if you were. Never did the run. You didn't do the run. Okay, well, you need to. Dolby was a big partner. This run was awesome. It was so fun, and then people would dress up for it and come out for it. And we ended up doing another one and another one and another one. We did it in Vegas, because we go to trade shows in Vegas. And so similar philosophy, like we're going to this place, we should give back to that community and try to raise some money. The 4K for Charity has now raised over $1.5 million for local charities in all these locations. And it was a brilliant idea. And 4K goes with the TVs, I'm assuming you got that. I'm not going to spend too much time on the acquisition. I think that's a whole other PubTalk if you're interested. But Amazon acquired us in 2015. Actually, it was more like an investment. It was sort of wasn't an exit at all. It was like, holy crap! Now we're going from a pretty big company of looking at about $100 million to whatever huge thing Amazon can do with us and what we can do for them. So, but what I did want to highlight was this is a slide that we presented to the employees at the acquisition time. And there's 3 goals that we came up with, and Sam drove a lot of these for sure. But and the first one was basically to take over the world of video processing. Second one was evangelize the business value of community investment to the rest of Amazon. Like for us, it's kind of that moment, it like gives me goosebumps, right? Like Amazon wanted to learn from us and how to scale and take what we did and scale it across all of Amazon across the world. So they're still working on it, but they are working on it and did take a lot of our ideas and are implementing them. So it's very rewarding. And Portland does have about 5 teams that are now working there. Oh, okay. Shortly after this, after the acquisition, it was a couple years after, didn't seem short. My wife and I were at dinner with Melissa Freeman, actually, and got a call that Sam had collapsed in front of friends, family at a wedding. And you can imagine just the emotion, not sure what happened. The next 24 hours would become probably the hardest time of my life, much less his family, of course, but it was a really, really intense situation. We had 450 people in this family of Elemental, not to mention the partners and customers and everybody. And when he died, it was just like this huge weight on top of all of us about how are we going to live these values that Sam put in place. And obviously he built a bigger organization than himself, but it's just like this huge, and it's still hard to talk about, obviously. But I know a lot of you in this room knew Sam, and Matt even put a little montage together that I'd like to see again. But yeah, it's a very, very impactful thing for us, for the community. We got people from all over the world writing in and giving us words of encouragement. And I'm going to be like Sam. I'm going to continue this idea of giving back, and just the values that he embodied was inspiring to many, many people everywhere. About a year later, I moved to Bend with my wife and family. We wanted to kind of get back to a place where we give our kids the same kind of experience we did when we grew up. I was from Central Idaho, and so we wanted to kind of give the kids an experience being in the outdoors, just growing up as a kid with amazing amenities like we have here. And so yeah, the first thing I did when I landed here was went to Edco and said, hey, I'm interested in plugging into the community, figuring out what's going on here, tech community. Met several entrepreneurs through that, and I just love mentoring entrepreneurs. Hopefully I didn't ruin anything for you over there, Brian. But yes, I'm always interested in helping the community from the business perspective. I'm an investor now in Ben Venture Conference, 3rd time. I agree, Ben Venture Conference this year was amazing. There's no way we would have won anymore. Like the companies coming in now are just they got a lot of revenue. They got great entrepreneurs, got great founders. And so that's been really rewarding too. Cascade Seed Fund, I'm an investor in. I want to plug Field Day. I'm a mentor for Field Day. Sam's brother Eli has started that company and essentially took all of what we learned, everything I've been talking about, wrapped it into software as a service. So anybody can add this feature to their culture, right? Anybody can invest. It allows nonprofits to come to the platform, allows you to do volunteer work. And then finally, Oregon Land Watch. My family and I really want to invest time and energy and money into environmental causes, and there's a lot of great ones here. I really love Central Oregon Land Watch and what we stand for, and I'm on the board there. So, yeah, and I'm doing a little bit of FIRST robotics for the kids once in a while. So hopefully this has been an inspirational talk, and you've learned something. Happy to continue the conversation.
Thank you so much.
Oh, if we have time for one more video.
Yeah, we do.
We have one more Bada Boom commercial, if anybody interested in seeing that. Yes, honey, I'm working on it right now. I know he looks so cute when he dribbles. Look, I'm having problems getting the files to open on my computer. Yes, I know. The new video camera was worth the investment. Honey, I've got to go.
Hey, buddy, cute kid. Looks like you need some professional help here. I, too, use my new HD video camera to take some videos of this judge, shall we say, in a compromising position. But when I went to edit it, I couldn't open my file. So I just opened it up and bada boom. Chose the preset for HD video, pressed the stop button, and hey, bada boom, it's done.
Wow. I think the pinky ring is such a nice touch.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's authentic. Wow, thank you so much. How about another round of applause for our friend Jesse? This is great. Really great. Such a wild ride that you've been on.
It was.
I want to go back to that moment where like the iPod and then HBO. Like, tell me how you felt when that happened. Like, show me what your face looked like.
Ooh, baby. No, it was a pretty amazing. We had gone. So we started in 2006, and it took until 2010 before we felt like we were going to make it. So I guess one of the takeaways was, thankfully my wife and my family was super patient, and we were all patient enough to see that vision through. It can take a long time, and so it wasn't until that point where we felt like we were actually going to get off the ground. So 4 years.
And it was quick then at that point. Like it just started to move fast, right?
It didn't feel quick at the time, but now you look back, and it wasn't that long between there and 2015 was the acquisition. So, 5 years to acquisition. That was from where we felt like we actually had a company. That's pretty fast.
And you don't work you're not still in the company working?
I'm not. No, not anymore. No.
And so how did you escape?
Cold
he just
turkey.
snuck out the door. He snuck out the back. He was like, it's my time.
Peace out. No, I did want to, I finished. So if anybody uses Amazon Web Services, there's a the media services. Anybody can use them. Anybody that's starting a company or personal want to stream. I wanted to kind of finish those out before I left, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
It was a good time for Holly, too.
Wow. What a ride. Okay, questions for Jesse. Anybody have a question for Jesse? Yes. How many subsequent rounds after your Series A did you have to raise?
Yeah, so after the series, we did 4. We did 3 after the Series A, and unfortunately, the very last one was literally like months before the acquisition happened. So we did dilute ourselves a little bit more than we had to, but we were growing internationally was one of the things. We were building a cloud service, and that took more money. One of the investors was investment arm of Disney, which really helped get us into ESPN and all the Disney-owned properties. So yeah, they were always really strategic investors. Norwest Ventures out of the Bay Area too was one of the investors. But yeah, shout out to Voyager Capital again. They were just with us the whole time and really were a really great partner. Anybody looking at investment, your investors are going to be you're going to be married to them for at least 10 years. Expect that. So pick good ones.
Yeah, that's good advice. Okay, yes. Sure.
So in 2008, when you thought that investment would be hard to come by, when was your next round of investment, and did that gap hold you back?
Okay, so in 2008, you thought investment would be hard to come by. What was the gap? Did it hold you back?
That's a good question. I believe, I'm looking at Don, I don't know if he remembers. 2013, I want to say, was the next round. So we did pretty well. Like we were able to pay the bills. We were actually, net positive on a lot of this. When we want to start scaling even bigger, then we needed inventory too. And we tried to stay away from inventory as long as we could, but eventually we did need more to scale at that level.
Okay, so looking back wasn't a long time, but when you were in it, it was eternity. Yes.
So you built your team to over 400 people, and so through a people lens, what would you say your biggest pitfall was, your biggest learning experience?
I love this.
What was your biggest success? What did you do right out of the gate?
Okay, so in terms of your team, building a team of over 400 people, what was the biggest pitfall, and then what was the biggest success? And this is a people-focused question. It's a great question.
That's a challenging question. I would say that our hiring process this is on the good side, the thing we did right. I think we were always very transparent. When we hired somebody, we would be very clear about what their role was going to be, and we wanted to make sure they were bought into the vision. We couldn't pay market salaries for a long time, till 2011 or so. Don knows this too. He's laughing and shaking his head, or nodding his head. We couldn't pay market salaries, so we had to sell people on the idea that this was going to be a cool thing to do. It's a cool place to work, a great culture, and that's, I think, something we did really, really well. And even through the Amazon acquisition, it was really evident because Amazon's not known as a great place to work and really, rewarding sometimes. But we had to keep that going, and we were able to do that through the acquisition as well. And that's all about the team and the people that were involved. To answer your other question, I think it's really hard. I'm not sure what we did wrong necessarily. Challenges. We were always challenged with diversity and getting women to be included in the hiring process and just getting them in the door. We put a lot of work into that, and that's a whole other PubTalk. But we never did get the diversity up to what we wanted it to be. We did try.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers your question. Okay.
All the way in the back.
Hey, Peter.
How did you deal with NVIDIA being an investor in your company and creating a competing product?
Yeah.
How did you deal with NVIDIA being an investor in your company and then creating a competing product?
Yeah, that was super stressful. There was also a super stressful time when Amazon was one side of Amazon Prime, which we were selling to as a customer, and the other side was the acquisition. AWS was the acquisition, and we didn't know how much they were talking. That's a whole other topic. But the NVIDIA one was similar in that, this guy, his also name was Sam. Sam Azar was the guy at NVIDIA, said it was impossible to do the video processing on CUDA, which is what we were doing. He started with his team and just going to town and trying to take away that consumer market. And the way it worked out well because the consumer market was something we weren't really interested in anyway. And they ended up putting all that stuff in for consumers, and so you can convert DVDs really well. Also, it's the same technology if you do the stream to your TV, like what's it called, the mirror your phone, you can go to the TV. It's the same technology it's used for that. So we were able to sort of part ways amicably, and NVIDIA, I think actually we were the best investment NVIDIA ever made. So they were incentivized to keep us happy too, as long as we were sort of on the enterprise side of things.
Wild. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else have a question for Jesse? So are you retired now? I mean, you're just kind of
I'm in between careers.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to go in again? I mean, what?
I don't know if I'd have the ambition for another startup, but if somebody's looking for kind of a mentor or somebody on the board or somebody that can help with high-level air cover for your company, I'd be super interested in that.
Oh, okay. All right. He's on the market. Okay. Last chance. Any questions for Jesse? This was just really fantastic. Thank you so much. And I don't know if you know this, but we have a tradition at PubTalk. You get a giant stein.
Ooh,
you can bring it back anytime. We will fill it with good dog gravy. I'm just kidding. We will fill it with
some
any
THC
beer
in
that you, we will fill it with beer or cider, or we could fill it with a couple bottles of wine. That's your choice. But
Awesome.
we're really appreciative. We're glad that you're
Yeah.
here. This was an awesome talk, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. I know you've got your hands in a lot of different things, so thank you for all that you're doing, and thanks
Yeah,
for
you
the
too.
night.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep it going for Jesse Rosenzweig. I mean, you guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. That was a good talk. I liked it. Okay. We're taking the holidays off. I know, it's sad, but it's necessary. We will return January 26th with PubTalk. We'll be right here. A reminder, trivia is outside, so if you don't want to go home and you brought all your warm coats and you're wearing 2 pairs of pants and a fur-lined hat, feel free. And then thank you for coming to PubTalk tonight. Thank you, Silver Moon, Hand in Hand, and Southern Accent for the treats, for the stream, for all the good times. It's wonderful to see you all. Thanks for having me. I'm Shannon Kelly. I'll see you soon, okay? Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Drive home safe.